So, how many schools should you apply to? Should I apply to 15? Should I apply to 1? Should I apply to 2? How do I know if it's too many or too little? How do I know if I can handle that? How many schools do the schools see that I applied to? All that stuff we'll be talking about in this video, so let's get into it.
Yeah, it's one heart, one shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the...
What's going on, guys? My name is Coleman. I am a physical therapist and the co-founder of Pre-PT Grind, and on this video we're going to be talking about how many schools should you apply to when applying to physical therapy schools. Okay, so really two things I want you to keep in mind. This isn't going to be a long video at all. Number one, I want you to keep in mind is the finances of applying. Then number two, the stress of applying as well. So these are the two big aspects we'll be going over in this video. It's the finances of applying and the stress, okay? You're gonna have to keep those in mind when applying to PT schools. So here's the breakdown. Number one, let's get into it. With the finances of applying, it costs money to send in your application. Now, some people know that, other people don't. So if you don't know that, welcome. It does take money. You do have to pay to apply to physical therapy schools. So the breakdown, at least at the time of this video, is I believe $150-ish for the first application. So to one school, it costs $150 to apply through physical therapy, through the physical therapist centralized application service, PTCAS. Then every school after that, it's $60, unless they change that and increase or decrease the price, okay? So if you do the math and you wanna apply to 15 schools, can you financially handle that? If you wanna apply to one school, can you financially handle that? If you wanna apply to 30, okay, so keep those finances in mind because this is your application. PTCAS does not care how many schools you apply to. The more schools you apply to, the more money they'll take. And they'll be like, great. We don't care if you get accepted or not. We're just the middleman. If you want to apply to 50 schools, we'll take all that money, no problem. So if that's not an issue for you and you can financially handle that, you can go ahead, apply to as many schools as you like. Not a problem. Number two is the stress of that many schools. Okay, so if you have 50 schools, 15, 10, 4, whatever you can or can't handle, just know that all the schools you apply to, you want to apply like they are the only school in the world. You want to put dedication into research, dedication and time into writing the best supplemental application essays for them. You want to get to know the faculty. You want to engage with the community at the school. You want to go to virtual visits and campus visits. You want to engage as much as possible with the school. You want to know all the ins and outs of how their application requirements work, from their GPAs to what letters of recommendation they take, to what experiences they like, to what the school does and does not like from their alumni. There's a lot of stuff that goes into knowing each school. It's kind of like dating, right? So if you're dating 50 people, how well are you going to get to know those 50 people? 15, 4, 12, whatever you can or can't handle, you have to keep in mind the stress of applying to all those schools, okay? So if you can handle the finances and the stress of applying to 15, 2, 10, 11, 27 schools, apply. You can apply to as many as you want, okay? If you can only handle 3, 7, 1, then apply to that many, okay? So that's your answer right there, is that's what you have to keep in mind. There's really not technically a perfect answer, oh, apply to this many schools and you'll get it, okay? There's really not a perfect answer, but what you can do is go to the PTCAS applicant data report. Google PTCAS applicant data report. And you can take really any year, 2020, 2021, 2019, doesn't really matter. And you can scroll down a little bit and see the analytics on the more schools you apply to, how many people get accepted there. The less schools you apply to, how many people get accepted there. For 15 schools, for the people who apply to 15 schools, how many you get accepted there. So you can take that data and say, well, the best probability is applying to this many schools and so on and so forth. Great, you can do that. However, I think it's a much better way to go and ask yourself these two questions. Can I financially handle it? Because the probability of applying to 15 schools or 10 schools may be high, but For me, it might not be high because I can't handle that financially or stress-wise. Okay, so keep those in mind. So, for the final answer, what we've really seen over the past years is 4 to 7, give or take a school or two. 4 to 7 schools in your application is what many pre-PTs seem to be able to handle financially and stress-wise with all they have to do. Will yours be less? Will yours be 3 or 2? Will yours be 8 or 10? Probably, maybe, or you might be in that range. But just from our experience, that's the kind of range and number of schools that most pre-PTs seem to be kind of in a good groove in when applying to physical therapy school. So take that as you wish. 4 to 7 is what we've seen, and go ahead and apply and make your application great. Follow us, like, subscribe, binge all our content because we drop gems in every piece of content. So I hope you're picking it up. So hope you enjoyed that video, and we'll see you on the next one.